Welcome everybody back to the channel. I've been talking about how to get unstuck, both in your life and in your creative process. And this is the second video where I'm really talking about the creative process and walking you through my framework. So this is step 2. If you haven't watched the first video on what to do first when you feel like maybe you're stuck in a creative project, you don't know what to do, you have too many ideas, go ahead and watch that. I'll link that right here. So this is going to be step 2, and be sure to stay to the end because I always have a few little tips for you in how to move forward with this process. Whenever you want to begin to create something new, right? Something brand new for yourself. So this is what this process is about. This process is about you creating something new, either in your life or in your creative practice, right? And we are always creating new because we are always growing and expanding. Just want to put that in there, right? But it is scary, right? So what happens is our brain begins to create these assumptions and tell you, you can't do this because this, right? So let me give you an example. Okay, this is just an example. It can be what the example is, whatever you are excited about. Let's say you're going through this process and you find out that you're really excited about the color pink, right? And you just, every time you think about it, you get excited, all these different colors and values of pink, and you really want to explore it. This is just, like I said, it's just a weird example. It could be whatever you're excited about, okay? So you go down the rabbit hole and you start to think about, what would this look like if I was to incorporate it into my project that I'm working on, right? And so you start to daydream, start to get excited, you start to think about what you could do and maybe make sketches or create color palettes. And then what happens is you start to think about all of these assumptions. Okay, so maybe you think, well, my collectors aren't going to buy anything that's pink because I haven't done it before. They're used to this, right? So I'm never going to sell this. That's an assumption. Maybe there's something like, oh, well, it's been done before. Like this, there's so many people who are creating pink things, and I'm just going to be another one of those people. Assumption, right? Maybe it looks more like a fear, like, I'm not good enough to do this. My work can't stand on its own. Or could be other things unrelated, like I have to do this in a certain time frame, or there's only certain galleries who would collect, who would, you know, I'll be looking for this, or I could never get into these publications. Any kind of assumption that our brain jumps to create this kind of safety. But what happens is it's keeping us from doing what we want. So this can actually lead to procrastination. It can lead to imposter syndrome. It can create all kinds of fears that keep us from moving forward. So this happens every time you have a dream, right? Like let's say I want to move to Bali or something. All these assumptions start coming up, right? I don't have enough money. I would never be able to find work. I could never do that because blah, 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 right? So this happens every time we want to change, create something new, do something different. I just want to point that out. But innovation comes from this place of not knowing, right? This place of change, of pushing beyond. So anytime, like let's say Steve Jobs, he had this dream of creating the iPhone, and I know that like everybody was telling him that's impossible. There's no way. And probably his own brain was telling him, but how do you move beyond, right? So he was able to push himself beyond that assumption. Okay. Now this can look like all kinds of fears. It can look like I said, procrastination. It can look like all kinds of things that come up, right? I'm not good enough, all kinds of things. But these assumptions are something that we have to move beyond to create something new. So we need to begin to question these assumptions when they come up, or we're just going to keep creating the same thing that we've been doing, that everybody else has been doing, possibly, and not really step into our uniqueness that our authentic self is trying to lead us to, that our intuition is trying to lead us to, that authentic expression that only you have, that wants to come out of you. Okay. That's where we're going with this. And the only way to get there is to question those assumptions. So a lot of these beliefs could be things that we've been conditioned, like, women don't do this, or in my culture, we don't do this, or um, I've been taught not to share too much about myself, not to be too loud. Um, a lot of people have assumptions about being an artist. I can't make money if I'm an artist. All of these cultural things that we picked up, beliefs that we have created in order to fit in order to be loved. I need to take care of everybody else before myself, right? That's kind of a belief that can keep us from stepping into who we are as an artist and really taking up that time, taking up that space for ourselves. So beginning to question these assumptions, these beliefs, right? So how do we move beyond these assumptions? How do we move beyond our beliefs? Here's where your little homework comes in. So I'd like you to just think about what you're working on. Think about the project that you're working on, what you are dreaming about, what you are wanting to create. What's your dream, right? What is it, a project? Is it your life dream? What is it? And then think about the assumptions that are coming up. What assumptions do I have about this project, right? Is it that it's too wild? Is it that it's not enough? Is it what are the assumptions? And then I think it's really important to question those assumptions. And I love Byron Katie's work. You can check her out because she has this really great way of questioning these assumptions, right? So thinking, is this really true? Is this true? Is this assumption true? And of course, your brain will automatically say, yes, of course it's true, right? But questioning, is it really true? Do I really know that it's true? Most of the time, we will find out that actually it is not true or doesn't have to be. You can ask yourself, what if this is not true, right? And then we want to educate ourselves. So I'm sure that, when Steve Jobs was working on creating this iPhone, which has never been done before, he had to educate or find people who could educate him, look around, find what we call expanders or role models or people who are doing something different or finding the technology. So you want to educate yourself, right? So we want to create a growth mindset. We don't want to just sit back and give up in that procrastination, shut down our dreams. We want to step into this growth mindset of, okay, this is my dream, and these are the things that are coming up, these assumptions that I have. Are they true? Let me find out. Let me find out who are people who are doing something. Like, if in the painting example, who are painters that are painting with pink, that are selling them, that are really out there, that are making tons of money, right? Who are they? What are they doing? You know, is it possible that my collectors will buy this, or different people? I'm stepping into more of who I am, right? That's really what you're doing. So question your assumptions, ask if they're true, educate them, ask yourself, what if it actually is possible? So good luck with this. I am super excited for whatever you are working on and working through this process. In the next video, we'll talk about the third step, opening up to possibilities, when you really begin to find your niche, find really what makes you unique. So take care until then, and leave a comment if you have something that you're working on. Leave your assumptions in the comment if you want to share, and please like and subscribe this video. I'll see you next time.